So we can click on edit to edit a member, okay, and with the modal, which is what we set out to actually achieve. And you can also add a member, a new member. You can see something, there's an error here. We actually clicked on edit here, and this is edit modal, but once we close it and then click on add member, it's still showing the edit club member, and it's still giving us bringing the last member we tried to edit. Something is wrong here, so let's just go back to our modal. Okay, here. Okay, so we need to add else here. Okay, and then we need the student club position and select. We need their values. Sorry, let me just copy here. We need these values and assign empty. We assign it to empty string, okay, and we'll do the same for this. Empty value, we assign it to empty value, okay, and the same for position. And the status select. Okay, so we assign this to empty values. Okay, and also we also need to assign this as well. Let's change this as well to add new member. I'm just add new member because that's what we added here. We said add new member, so we'll keep it the same. And another thing again we need to do, we also need to add the method as well. We need to add the method. Okay, so we can just copy this and copy this here, and then change this to post. Okay, so and then we also need to change the button, this button. Okay, so we need to also update the button. Instead of having update, we can make it add member, because that's also that's the text we have here, add member, where we set this button here. We're setting this button here, so we need to just be consistent. So having said that, let's just go back and see if we're able to resolve that. Let's hot reload again. Okay, so let's attempt to edit this member, and if we close and go back here, okay, you can see we're able to clear the field and bring out the modals for you to add, bring out the form for adding a new member. So this is working well now. Okay, so what I can do now is I can see what we have set out to do we've achieved. We can now edit our club members as well as add new members using modal. Okay, and we are doing this from our server side data table. Okay, so what else I can do is just to add the students there. It looks nice the way it is, but I prefer when I have the image of the student. It makes the table, it makes it easy to recognize the student when you have also the images. So I'm going to add images on this table, as well as enable this to also work, the toggle, for you to disable a student or make them active, or inactivate a student, as well as edit. Okay, currently not, as well as delete a student. Okay, so I will just do that quickly. Okay, so I'll just do that now. All right, so we go to the students, the data table. Okay, here I can add anywhere here, it's fine. I can add a column, call it image. Then the query, the data set. Okay, here I can return the image. Okay, then I can call the image tag. There is the source. Okay, so the source I can call assets. Asset then query. Okay, and then I need to call the student because the image is in the student table. Okay, if you recall, the image here is in the student table. This is the club member table, but in the student table here is where we have the image. Okay, so and there's a relationship between the student and the club members which we have established before now. Okay, so okay, so we can add auth, open double quotes, and then we call the query set, and then from there we can access the student again, and let's say we use the last name. Okay, so we can put the last name here as the alternative when there's no image that can show. Then we can also put the width. We can make the width say 70 pixel, and also height of say maybe 55 pixel. So, and we are returning this. All right, so what we can do now is also add the image in our raw columns, and as well as add a column here for the images or the image. Okay, so let's check it out and see if, let's refresh. Okay, so we have the image, but the image, okay, yeah, the image is here. Okay, that's fine. This looking good. So it's looking good. So what else I can do now is to enable this to also work. Okay, and that will be from our index here. So just to save our time, I'm going to just take the script I have already developed for that, and you can always get this from the. So what I can do, I'll just take the script. So what I can do now, just copy a script, okay, and add it here. So I'm going to create a script. So I'm just going to copy a script I have previously developed. So I'll just put it here. So I'm going to add this change. I'm going to add this class, okay, in. I'm going to add it in our status here, in the class here. Okay, so here is a class. So I'm going to add it here as well as here. Okay, so with this class, I'll be able to reach the status. Another thing I'm also going to add here is data ID, and the data ID is going to okay, so I'm going to add the query set and then the ID, and the same I'm going to do for this other one. Okay, so that will get the ID of the member we want to change the status for. Okay, so that's okay. Let's see now, but we are going to let's go back here. So we are going to assign a URL here. And the URL we are going to create in our web, in the route, I mean. So I can do that from the top here. I can say route. It has to be a put, not get. Okay, so I can also copy a similar address here. And the only thing I can do, I'll just add status change. Okay, and it has to be student, membership controller. Then I'll call it status. I'll give the function or method name status change. Then the name, I'll also say club membership dot status. Okay, so what I can now do is to pick this, and let me save this and use that here. Here I'm going to call the route, and inside this route I'm going to paste my route name. Okay, then I'll need to go to this and then I need to create the method here, public function. I call this status change. Okay, can take request because our data is going to come via JSON, so we need this request method to be able to get our ID and as well as the status. Okay, coming from this point. Okay, this is coming from our Ajax. Okay, so it's going to return a JSON value, or yeah, JSON value. It's going to send that via this data. So it's sending our status as well as our ID, okay, via this route to our controller or to this method. So let's call this member, okay, and then we call the club member model, and here we use the method find or fill to search for the particular member that we want to update the status, and the ID of that member we can get from requests ID. Okay, and once we get this member, we want to update also the status. So, and if you recall, the way we made the status is either 1 or 0. Okay, that's how we saved it on our database here. Okay, this is our club member database. Here is either 1 or 0. Okay, so we need to also store it that way. Our value need to be consistent. Okay, so we have to check if request status is equal to true. Okay, because the value that is coming from that's been returned, our JSON value that's been returned is true, either true or false. So we are checking if the status is true, then we want to save 1 in the database. Otherwise, we want to save 0. Okay, then we can then save this member. We can save the details, which is the ID, the status. We can save the status. So we can now save, so we can then save this status, or save the member, the details we just changed, and then we can return response. Okay, we can say status changed successfully. So it didn't work. Let's see what happened. Let's check on our index and see. Okay, I can see there's an error here. I need to put a comma here after this, the URL. Okay, so let's save. I think that's where the error is coming. That's why it's not working. Let's hot reload again. Okay, so you can see it's working fine now. So this is working okay, and I can then work on the delete. So I can also delete that. So I'll just quickly do this one just to make it look good. I can click on the status to update the status. Okay, I can update the status now. I can also delete if I want to. Okay, so that member is deleted. Okay, so actually we've come to the end of this video. We've been able to demonstrate how we can edit a member or edit a row in a table, a server-side table, okay, using modal, as well as also add a new record, okay, using modal as well. So thank you, and please subscribe to my channel, okay, to keep encouraging this channel to grow. Thank you, and see you in another video.